Clayton, I'd like to hit you up on this wide receiver core because there's nobody that's caught more than 6 passes. Cornelius Johnson with 6 receptions. But one of the keys to having an effective wide receiver core is not just to have 4 fast guys out there, but to have guys that fill different roles. You know, your number one guy may not be the fastest guy, but he runs the best routes, has the best hands, is just the guy that does the right things and gets open and makes the tough catches. You know, you got a deep guy who may not catch many passes, but obviously he's the guy that takes the top off the defense. You got your Hunter Renfrow types that are slot guys, Julian Edelman kind of guys that just drive defenders crazy because they're so quick and just move the sticks and are reliable on third down. Just different body types, different types of receivers, big body guys that high point the football, that can block out defenders, that are almost tight end types. Do you see a pretty good complement of different types of receivers here? And do you think that they'll eventually, when they need to throw the ball a little bit more, show that they fit different roles?
Yeah, I think that remains to be seen. You know, I do think there are guys with different roles, but, you know, at what level can they play? You know, just because we haven't seen it yet. Cornelius Johnson is a guy you're referencing with 6 catches there for, I think, 160-something yards. 87 of those came on 1 pass last week, the 3rd longest touchdown pass in Michigan football history from Cade McNamara. Hit him on a little double move there down the sideline, one-on-one coverage, a nice deep ball in stride. So I think he's the deep threat, at least the number one guy. You kind of mentioned, you know, guys not being necessarily the fastest, but, you know, he's a little bigger. And, you know, I think he's more of a possession receiver. He is a technician in the way he runs his routes, though. I think he's the best route runner on the team. But, you know, we mentioned Ronnie Bell being out. He was the clear number one guy there for the quarter and a half he was able to play before he unfortunately went down. Guys stepping up in his absence would be Dalen Baldwin, Jackson State transfer, who got 3 catches last week. He was battling a little bit of an ankle injury the first couple weeks, but, you know, feels like he's getting closer to 100%. And I thought he looked pretty smooth out there. He's not the fastest guy either, but he's a guy that if you watch some of his highlights from Jackson State, he was going up and getting balls, you know, over guys' helmets and a couple guys there. So I think you could see that down the road as well. He was close. He got interfered with, but still probably should have came down with the ball if you asked him, you know, on 1 deep ball as well. So I think we're going to see a little bit more of that. Those are your kind of outside guys. Roman Wilson as well, a second-year guy who, you know, has made a few catches, but I think could get a little more involved in the offense. But, you know, I'm interested to see how this wide receiving core is going to work on a play-by-play basis when Michigan's in a game where they do need to throw. And again, that is coming. Certainly, there's no way they're going to run through this schedule. And maybe we'll go back and clip this after they do or something like that. But there's no way they're going to run through this schedule just rushing the ball. So I'm excited to potentially see that. I don't know if it's going to be this week. But, you know, I do think they're going to have to throw it over 30 times, maybe 40 times in some games coming up here. And I think the wide receiver core without Ronnie Bell, to me, is a little bit more of a question mark than a lot of people are talking about. People are talking about, you know, the depth because they have been rotating quite a few guys in there. But I don't know at what level they can play. There's a lot of guys that are good enough to get out there, but are they good enough to sustain a passing attack that is going to, you know, have to air it out throughout the course of a game? We'll see. And that's why I think that Ronnie Bell injury was just so devastating for this team. But I think they have the guys that can step up. We'll see if they're able to.